Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Monday, September 15th, not 5th. I have to change that. Welcome to the Java Cafe this morning. We're going to do sort of a quick shot this morning. There was a lot to do, is a lot to do, and I'm trying to do it all today. And it is Mental Health Monday, so we're going to talk about our mental health status, how we're doing. Speaking of mental health, my family, the Warren side, is in mourning and grieving at the loss of my little cousin Hank, who is the son of my big cousin Hank. His services today. My mom and them are on their way to the service, and then this afternoon, as many of us are doing in community, we are also celebrating the life of Brother Jeff Gray, or Rogers. There was a wonderful story written about him in the Globe, I believe, yesterday, and we're going to share some of that today. But let's go into the Java Cafe over on the Instagram side, see who is in the building, and also on the Facebook section and see who was in the building this morning as well. Again, Mental Health Monday. So you know what we're going to prompt you for in just a few minutes. And so let's go in. Miss Teresa, in the Facebook section, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room this morning. Mama Java made it on as she's on her way to the service. Again, keep my mother and the Warren side of my family in your prayers. Milton, my brother, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room. Pastor Marion, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room. Good morning, D. Good to see you in the room. The Wave God, the Real Boston Media is in the room in the Facebook section this morning as well. Over on Instagram, Fathers on the Move, Gene 6979, and also Brother Brandon Bedlam Show Off is in the room over there as well. And so, as I said, it is Mental Health Monday. One of the things I want to check in on our mental health is around our Black Joy. This Friday, I had the opportunity to host again for the 5th year in a row, host the Black Joy Day sponsored by Thaddeus Miles. And when I tell you all, Friday night at the ICA, oh, it was lit. It was needed. There's so much going on in the world, in politics, Boston politics, the mayoral race, the at-large race, recounts, the debate going back and forth around the horrible human being, that was killed last week. A lot of debate about that, and we needed that space, and we more than ever. There's a video that I just realized that I captured a young woman, and I asked her, what does Black Joy mean to you? And she said, especially in this time, it means everything. And she was glad to be there. So Uncle Thaddeus, thank you so much for curating that space and all that you do in community. Dina, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room this morning. Thank you for your note. Michelle D. Smith, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room this morning as well. Also, Sister Debbie, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room this morning as well. Folks, it is Mental Health Monday. Leslie just jumped in the Instagram section of the Java Cafe. Good morning to you. Good to see you in the room. All the way down from the DMV, we have Mother Lisa. Good to see you in the room. Tell Pops I said hey. Nisi, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room this morning as well. For those of you that are here, do me a favor, as we usually do, but haven't been able to do the last couple of Mondays with guests. Give me one word in the comments for your mental health status. How are you feeling this morning? What's going on with you? One word in the comments so we can check in on our mental health. And we're also going to share a little bit of the information about Brother Jeff, and as well share some information about how you can get more advantages for fresh fruits and vegetables through a collaboration with the Boston Public Health Commission and also the state, where you can get more fresh fruits and vegetables from farmers markets. So we'll share that with you as well. Asiya, good morning. Good to see you in the room this morning as well. As I mentioned before, as it is, Damon said he is feeling wavy this morning, as I'm not surprised by that, being the Wave God. Wave Nation, good to see you guys in the room. I wanted to take a couple of seconds, and again, as I shared, I believe it was last week, we found out that Brother Jeff Gray as he's listed on Facebook, but in other spaces, Jeff Rogers um, transitioned and became an ancestor on last week. And we wanted to share just some of the information about him. I did not have the honor of knowing this man on a, text, go hang out, have a drink, things like that. But whenever I saw him in community, he was always encouraging. And it says a lot when you realize, when I'll say for me, um, it speaks to his impact, the way I was impacted about hearing about his transition. Don't have his phone number, don't know the man well at all. And that speaks to his character. That speaks to the joy and the charisma that he had to pull people in, to advise them, to encourage them. And so, with that said, I am going to read an excerpt by a story that was written by, and I don't have the author's name right here, but this is what I'll just read some of it to you as a dedication. I also wanted to mention that on Friday we did a nowhere near justice of this young man. But we had a moment of silence for those that are our ancestors. We spoke their names, as well as we asked a couple of trivial Black trivia questions in honor of this great brother. So we're just going to read some of the information that was in the Globe on yesterday. One of the things here said on his LinkedIn profile, where Mr. Rogers discussed his approach to being an executive coach and a diversity, equity, and inclusion facilitator, he stressed the importance of necessity and unity. I love bringing people together to solve problems, Mr. Rogers wrote. I understand that solving problems is about uniting people. I know that that's what leadership is. And in the time right now, I'm not going to put commentary. Jeffrey Mark Rogers was born in Dorchester on December 4th, 1981. The third of four siblings, he was the son of Paul K. Rogers, who retired as a phone company manager, and Kathleen Arsenault Rogers, who worked in medical research and healthcare. As a kid, he was very, very, very precocious. Precocious, rather. He was always advancing, and he was always advanced in learning, said his younger brother, Dwayne. If teachers and adults wanted to debate a point with him, you needed to have facts, you needed to have understanding, you had to have reasoning to back up what you were saying, Dwayne, his brother, recalled. As you can imagine, he drove many teachers wild. His service and viewing will be today from 2 to 4 p.m. at the Floyd Williams Funeral Home on Columbus Ave, and his celebration of life will be this evening at Venezia's from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And so I wanted to personally send support, love to his family, and also his adopted and chosen family that consists of some sisters and brothers that are very special to me. Brother Eric Aceves, Brother Shagun Idawu, also Sheena Collier and Shauna Bryant as well, and many others in community that shared space with him. To the Hella Black Trivia team, we definitely send joy and strength your way as you all are keeping his vision alive and taking your time for yourselves to do that. It is definitely needed. So again, we send love to the Gray and Rogers family, the Hella Black Trivia family, Black Boston family, Boston Wild Black family. We send support and love to you in honor of this great man. In addition to, we wanted to ask you to also keep the Hills and Warren family in your prayers as we are celebrating the life of little Hank today. His mom, Dee, as well as my big cousin, Hank, are his parents, and we are soliciting your prayers for them as well. So thank you so much for your prayers and thoughts. Do me a favor. I only saw one comment. Antonio, good to see you in the room as well. He said, rest in peace to Jeffrey as well. I only saw one comment from Brother Damon for your mental health status this morning. Kenya, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room. I don't know why seeing your name just took me into a whole Boston Poly space, but good to see you in the room this morning. Who else came in the room? Go ahead. Real Boston Media, let me know what the question is. We usually don't take live questions, but go ahead and let us know what you're asking. Tiffany, thank you so much. Thank you so much. A family member there as well. Let me, Ma, how you must be watching on your phone. I'm like, how are you on the show on your way to the service? But Real Boston Media, go ahead and ask that question. Nisi, thank you so much for both families as well. And as you're sending condolences, put your word in the comments for how you're feeling this morning so we can check in and support one another as well. My Aunt Kisa is in the room. Good morning. You often see some of the braids that I sport. She's the one that does them as well. Pastor Sharon Cornelius is in the room this morning. Good to see you in the room this morning as well. Kisa, thank you for the prayers. Tiffany, again, thank you so much. So, Real Boston Media, what is the question? Unless it's in my phone. Let me see if it's over here. Okay. It's not there yet. So let me know what the question is, and we'll answer that. And again, we see Pastor Naraki was singing last week. Good to see you in the room this morning. Also, Tiffany said, I just heard about Hank. Yeah, it that caught a lot of us off guard. The Real Boston Media is asking, can you explain this recount stuff of what's going on? I thought because Kraft rescinded, it was done because of the other votes. So I will definitely go to that in a minute. I'm going to finish with the words, Real Boston Media folks, and then I will explain that because there has been some questions about the recount, deadlines, D7, and things like that. So we'll go into that in just a minute. Naraki again said that Pastor Naraki said she is feeling determined. Dina said that her one word for how she's feeling today is allergic. Mama Java, of course, said that she has a heavy heart this morning, being sort of a matriarch, her and Aunt Renona in our families. Don't forget to put your one words, everyone, as I explain this as best I can understand about the recount. So, as you all know, on Thursday, Josh Kraft suspended his campaign. He did not end it, as last I heard. He has until 5 p.m. today to submit to, I believe, the Secretary of State and the City of Boston's election department. It may just be the Secretary. I'm not sure. I'm going to clearly say that because accuracy of information is hugely important. He did not. Ari, good morning. Good to see you in the room. And also Martinia, good to see you in the room as well. He did not Josh Kraft has not, as at last I saw, removed his name from the ballot. And so he has until 5 p.m. today. Can he leave his name on the ballot? Yes, he can. I'll save commentary. I won't give any commentary there. The other thing that the Real Boston Media asked about was the recount. There are potentially two recounts going on. One is Domingos DeRosa had to submit for a recount by a certain period of time in order to attempt to identify if there were any votes missing from election night. Well, why is that important? As I mentioned on Thursday evening, when we did an impromptu after dark after Josh Kraft suspended his campaign with Malia Lazu and Calvin Feliciano, I suggest you go and watch that episode over on YouTube. We'll put the link in here in a second. And so, according to state law, if Domingos had 3,000 votes, he would be able to sort of step up and be on the ballot. There are a couple of things at play here. You can only have 2 people on the ballot after the primary. If Josh Kraft removes his name by 5, that gives space for Domingos. If in a recount, the city of Boston identifies that Mingo had 3,000 votes. Why 3,000 votes? By state law, Chapter 53, section it is chapter 53, section 13 says that if a preliminary candidate, I don't want to misquote it, so I'm going to read it to you right now. Massachusetts, you can look it up for yourself. Massachusetts General Law, chapter 53, section 13. Go read it for yourself to make sure that you know that that information is out there and no one is giving you misinformation, whether by mistake or intentionally. So section 13 says, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but unless otherwise provided by the city or town charter, such nominee shall be placed by the candidate with the next highest number of votes in said preliminary. Here's the key point in why 3,000. If such candidate receives a number of votes at least equal to the number of signatures required by law to place his there, because this was written a long time ago and we got women in here now, so to place their name on the preliminary election ballot. So in the city of Boston, in order to run for mayor, you need 3,000 certified signatures. Shout out to the black man that did it. Based on Josh suspending his campaign and no longer being a candidate, that again opens it up for Mingo to become a candidate if at last count, Mingo had just under, I believe, 2,500 votes. What I believe he and his campaign hopes, and this happens, and a perfect example is what we call, at one point, we were calling her one vote Julia. Julia Mejia, I believe in 2021, won the seat by, now, here's why I'm saying this is important. Early on, before the votes were certified and finalized, it looked in a recount that Julia had up one vote. In the final, it was actually 3 votes. If you go to 2021, and I remember seeing this, it was actually 3 votes. 2 things there. One is every vote matters. 2, imagine if all that wonderful social media, online energy, complaining, all that other stuff, all the support from Mingo, imagine if 750 more people went out to vote. This would be almost instantaneous. He would ascend to be on the ballot with Mayor Wu. And so that is a long, Dina said, Dina may have me correct, 2604. So that makes his, and Dina, if you just got that off the city site, let me know. Whatever the case, if more, or in this case, if the number was 2604, Mingo would need 396 more votes. That's all he needs to get to that point to be on the ballot. And so I hope that answered the question, not only for the Real Boston Media, but a lot of folks that were wondering. Homegirl Aisha Miller put out a post yesterday asking what's up with the recount. Another piece with the recount is within D7. I don't know all the details. I ran into one of the political operatives of one of the candidates on Wednesday last week. And they were talking about the numbers being so close. Blitz, good morning. They were talking about the numbers being so close that there is, they are looking to possibly have a recount in D7. Those 2 top contenders ended up being Cote Said and also Minyard Culpeper. So there probably will be a recount. In all of them, in the recount of these are so important because the 2 top of the mayoral and also D7 advance to the general. And so you want to make sure, even with everything that's going on with Josh Kraft's campaign suspension, you want to make sure that everybody that is supposed to advances. And if in a recount or while the votes are being certified, because right now, in order for the votes to be certified, there has to be, excuse me, a surety that the numbers are accurate. And so the recount while they're certifying the original vote. So all that to say that 5 p.m. today will be very, 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 very telling. We'll find out if Josh Kraft submitted a ending to remove his name per se from the ballot, and also if Mingo gets the recount. So Mingo's signatures, first of all, there's commentator and operative, and then there's the brother. As the brother, you all know where Mingo promised that he did promise us he was going to rest, but I get it. This thing is in his DNA, his family, and a part of who he is. And so we have to celebrate that this man will fight. And I'll leave that there. And so all this weekend, what's up, Tyrone? With all this, I get it now. I won't say the whole government, but Tyrone F. All this weekend, Mingo staged at 750 Dudley Street and had people in community. Somebody typed or commented on one of the posts that he had folks out door knocking as well. Mingo needs to get 50 certified. So if I was a candidate, I would try to get 75 in each ward. You need to get 50 certified signatures that basically 50 people from each ward in the city agree with the fact that they would like the numbers recounted. Those had to be submitted today at 9 a.m. And so they will look at those. My belief is the process includes, because they have to be certified by 5 p.m. today. So there are two things going on. They have to count the votes for Mingo to make sure he has 50 from each ward to spark a recount. And also Josh Kraft will or will not send a letter saying that he's going to remove himself from the ballot. So that is the status of things. As we see Uncle Thaddeus in the room, we talked about it earlier, but Uncle Thaddeus, once again, thank you so much for the past 6 years, 5 at the ICA, curating the space for Black joy with all this stuff we're talking about, with all that's going on in the news and nationally and even locally in politics. We need as many Black spaces as possible. So Uncle Thaddeus, thank you so much for creating that space for us. I'm semi-satisfied. I know who's on the account right now. I'm semi-satisfied with that answer. So Dina and Miss Teresa, thank you. 2604. I haven't looked at the numbers hard since the other night. I was supposed to do a real dragging and trolling of the numbers this weekend, and I did not. I chose to rest. Well, my body chose to rest on Saturday because after Friday night. Anyway, Chips, Jesus Lord, Chip said the law is flawed. Then it's interesting because per charter, I don't believe we've ever been in a space where a final top two for the mayoral pulled out. And so I don't believe there's anything in the charter that leaves space for that. And we have to also understand the interesting relationship with the city of Boston and the state of Massachusetts, due to the fact that a lot of the Brahmins did not like the fact that the Irish were coming in and getting elected. They sent a lot of power up to the state house to block. So that's why I don't understand during busing and some of this other stuff, why there was so much racism against Black folks, because y'all were being, there was a time where signs were up in the city talking about what the Irish need not apply. So anyway, there's another it's 1026. There's an article that came out this weekend and talked about, and I've been saying this for years, Boston politics and Boston is changing. It hasn't changed. But an author from a outlet called the South Boston something talked about the fact how South Boston overwhelmingly voted for Mayor Wu. Now, some of these other numbers makes us question the changing, because along with Mayor Wu, they were right up there with Frank Baker. And we're not going to get too deep and go too far off into that because we'll be here till 11 o'clock. But thanks, Real Boston Media, for raising that question and explaining some of the recount according to how I understand it. Pastor Marion said, even with the recount, they don't stand a chance winning against Mayor Wu, not even Kraft. And so, numbers, stats, data, trends, voter turnout trends, what's being discussed right now in the comments can be surmised as what a lot of operatives and strategists call a path to victory, meaning that you have the numbers, you have the votes, you have enough what we call ones that you have to now in turn and get out and vote. And so it is, to Dina's point, we got to celebrate Domingos for this point right here, what she accomplished getting people involved. And so he got those 2,604 votes by getting people involved. And then the hope and belief is that if there is a recount, they may find in the recount an additional 396 votes. Now, away from people, away from my brother, away from the science, the math, and the data says that's an interesting hope. However, one thing that is unequivocally undeniable is this brother's stick-to-itiveness, is his determination, is his rigor, is the fact that he fought to do that, and that would be a sign that he would fight for us. So that's my commentary there. Renisto, good morning. Good to see you over in the Instagram section of the Java Cafe as well. Let me see if I have any more comments. Dina said, I think Mingos just want to get people involved. I do not think he feels he will get the required number of signatures. And Tina, you always putting something up in here to get me. Yeah. I said earlier that there's a strategist side to me and Mingo, and then there's a brother side. And me and the brother side are going to have a conversation with my brother. As I said, data science, voter trends, the fact that a municipality would be off up to now citywide 22, 23 precincts. Could there be 396 votes? Possibly. I will just say in these times in politics and campaigns and the electoral process, there's nothing that can be taken for granted. With that being said, on this Wednesday at 10 a.m., Mayor Wu will join us for her monthly appearance in the Java Cafe. So please make sure you plan to be here this Wednesday at 10 a.m. I cannot say that this is her first sit-down interview yet. I'm going to try to find out at least by tomorrow. But whether it is or not, it's a different conversation here in the Java Cafe. So Mayor Wu will be with us on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Let's check some more of the comments, and we're going to get ready to wrap up. Tashad said, yep, I learned so much from him as a first-time candidate. He's definitely a fighter. I want to see him on the ballot, as many others do. Pastor Sharon said over on Instagram, I saw her and said hi at the labor celebration. I'm not exactly sure of who, Pastor Sharon, but to Tashad's point, Mingo is a fighter. He fights for us and as residents and issues and whatnot. And so there's so many factors that play into people's decision and who they support, why they support, morals and values aligned with life experience in running a city and a municipality, a lawyer. There's other variations of people that grew up in this city and know the city well and have a rigor. And there are so many factors as to why people make the decisions that they make in supporting which candidates they support. Uncle Thaddeus said something, and so did Rob. Uncle Thaddeus said, sometimes you have to see other fight to gain the courage to fight for your. Sometimes you have to see others fight to gain the courage to, and to Dina's point, I know that, Pastor Sharon said that that she saw Mayor Wu at the labor celebration. I hope you let her know that you was a Mother's Board member. To Thaddeus's point and to what Dina said earlier, you don't know what little girl, what little boy is sitting over in Roxbury, Dorchester, Mattapan, South Boston, and or West Roxbury and Rosendale too. What Madison Park graduate has seen this man do what he's doing and inspire them to step up to city council? I talked to somebody the other day that's watched this whole thing play out, and they have a serious interest in running for office. In this season, there was somebody that came to me and was going to run for D7, and I said, absolutely not. And let me just say this for those of you that considering. There's a mental health impact, there's a physical impact, there's a financial impact, there's an impact on your family. And there are a lot of things that prospective candidates, I would suggest you consider if you are running for office. The closer to a municipality, a little bit easier, the less money you have to raise. But if you're going for mayoral, gubernatorial, a state senate, congressional, more money comes. The higher, quote unquote, the office, the more scrutiny your taxes are under. Your relationships through the years experience are under. It's not just as easy as getting the signatures and getting your name on the ballot and getting voted for. Ask Mingo. Ask a lot of candidates that have been in here. And so it's a lot to consider. But the inspiration that this man has caused, we also have to name the inspiration of the Asian woman who speaks fluent Spanish. We have to name the inspiration of people like Ayanna Pressley, Andrea Campbell, Kim Janey, others. We have to name the black men in Baltimore. We have to name the black men that have stepped up here. Mingo, Marv, Maverick. So, all right, y'all about to get me off. Dina said, just because Boston being Boston, he will fight, but won't win this time. He already claimed his candidacy for 2000. And first of all, I sat the other night and realized, and yes, math, everything says blah, blah, blah. But I was sitting next to someone and I said, Mayor Wu's going to be the mayor until 2030. And I was like, wow. Just because I think the flip of the 20s, 2000, first of all, that we're 30 years past Y2K. Unbelievable. But Mingo, to Dina's point, has already declared his candidacy for 2029. So you got to give the brother respect for the fight. Tashad said, child, listen, running affects your whole. Here's a candidate right here. Running affects your whole life. I'm still glad I did it, but yeah, it's a lot. Absolutely. Milagro said that her word is exhausted. Milagro, thank you for not acting up and participating this morning. Let me look at the time. Seeing Milagro. Michelle D. Smith said her mental health status is meditative. All right. I think, Brother Rob had something to say as well. What would be the benefit of still running into such a deficit? No shade, just trying to honestly understand. I think, Rob, the last few minutes of commentary may have answered that based on Dina's point about Mingo fighting. And also based on what Thaddeus said, he's definitely trailblazing a path. And of course, we're going to talk to Mingo in the next week or so and have him on. I just had an idea in real time. So you all got to see it happen. Milagro, there's a first time for everything, Jesus. We're going to get ready to wrap up, everyone. It's 10:36. Two serious things I ask you all. Three, everybody didn't put their mental health status in the comments. The other two is to please keep the Rogers family and many of the creatives and young professionals, Black and Brown Boston period, in reference to Brother Jeff's transition, and also to the Warren side of my family, to Hank and Dee and others that are burying little Hank today. We solicit your prayers for both families as well. By way of announcements, and I'm behind with so much. The advantage of taking the summer off is I feel pretty good. The downfall is a lot of stuff did not get done that I wanted to get done. With that being said, 1 month from today, a few hours from now, you all will be getting ready, putting on some sequins, red, black, and white, as we celebrate the Red Cup recognition at the Museum of Science. We are going to give away 4 red cups to people from community that are humanitarians, that move in the public health space, that are volunteers in community, and also an award from me as the host of Java with Jimmy for those that support, participate, and for a person or maybe 2 that participate and really raise the Java Cafe beyond my wildest dreams. That's going to take place on October 15th at the Museum of Science. We're having a red carpet type of thing. You don't have to dress it up, but if you're wearing jeans and sneakers, it think sneaker ball type of attire. Right now, it is free. We may tack a $10 fee onto it. Because I'll say it, in the past, we've made investments in events. We've made investments in events, and similar to what we saw about the voting, all this wonderful support up on here. But when it came time to show up at the event, I could have put that investment in other places. So anyway, I'm just being real. But please plan to come on October 15th. We're going to have a great night. Jeff 2 Times is going to be with us. And also, I want to shout out DJ Kits. That, Jesus, good God. DJ Kits, he did some house disco with Jodeci. Baby, won't you just stay, with some beat. And what we're sitting there, and I'm like singing the words, and I'm like, these words sound familiar. And I'm like, he's mixing up Jodeci in a pop techno. Man, listen. So we'll have a DJ that night. We're going to have food. We're going to have a cash bar. This is a 21 plus event. So no children at this event. So please plan on being there about 6:40, 6:45, red carpet, things like that, awards. Dina, thank you so much. I saw your note about the calendar as well. Dina said charge to 10. So we're actually meeting with the Museum of Science today, shortly. And we're going to do a walkthrough of everything. So when I just felt my heart go doom, 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 because we got a month to pull this off. And so I see family members on here. Please make sure you all plan to come and have a good time as we celebrate 4 or more people from community that are humanitarians, volunteers, and also move in the public health space. All right. The event is at 7 p.m. Pastor Marion, I would really love to see you there. We are working, hopefully, with Lyft to be able to provide some Lyft codes for folks that don't drive that would like to attend. We will hopefully be able to offset some of your costs to get there on the 15th. So Michelle D. Smith, as always, you're Miss Teresa. Thank you. 5th annual Javaversary, October 15th, 7 p.m. Museum of Science. Look forward to the celebration. I talked to one of the folks participating this weekend and gave them their assignment. So we have some charter members that are going to do a couple of things that evening as well. We're going to recognize the Mothers Board, of course, and others, our sponsors and sponsors of Java with Jimmy. The Museum of Science is the lead and only sponsor on the 15th, but other sponsors throughout the last 5.5 years. And it's hard to believe in less than 6 months, we'll be celebrating the 6th anniversary. So we're off with the Red Cup Awards and the anniversary because the Museum of Science offered their space, and I had to take it when it was available. So we couldn't get it in March. So now we have the residency at the Museum of Science. If we can finagle a date in March for the full 6-year anniversary, we may be back at the museum in March to get things back on track. So anyway, please plan on coming out. Also, October 2nd, I cannot give the details, but save the date. October 2nd, about 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Save the date. October 2nd, 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Save the date. Parking is there. I will, right now, it's paid parking at a very minimal fee, but I will find out from the museum today if we'll have subsidized parking for that event. I don't think it will be free, but there is a whole garage there, Pastor Sharon, for you to park. All right, Brother Hakeem, good to see you in the room, brother. Good to see you. Pocket Lit Films, I think that, yep, every time I see him, that's all I say. Pocket Lit Films, but good to see you in the room and good to see you on Friday as well. The good Bishop is in the room. Good to see you, Bishop. Make sure you come back specifically on October 6th. Bishop Kenneth Moles will be with us for Mondays with Moles, the new segment and series we started last Monday. So please plan to come. I also wanted to say happy anniversary to the Cathedral of the Holy Spirit that our late Bishop Kenneth Moles Sr. started. They're celebrating, I believe, their 50th or 52nd anniversary. Kenneth Moles was in town yesterday. Didn't get a chance to go see and fellowship with him. But Belinda, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Belinda, go back and watch the After Watch. We talked about the event at the Museum of Science and also October 2nd, a date coming up. And Belinda is also one of our early supporters and charter members as well. Good to see you in the room. All right, we're going to wrap up, everyone. We will be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for Testimony Tuesday. And also, don't forget, on Wednesday at 10 a.m., Mayor Michelle Wu will be with us to discuss policy, to discuss what it is that she's going to do, what it is that she feels is her directive from the votes and the issues that were raised on the campaign. And so we'll also find out some of the superficial stuff. She does need to be sworn in on the first Monday after New Year, after the New Year. He has to be sworn in per charter, but will there be a celebration in January? Is she going to have an inaugural party and stuff like that? We'll find some of that stuff out on Wednesday at 10 a.m. So please plan to be with us. Again, keep the Warren family in your prayers and also the Gray Rogers and Jamie family. Former mayor, the first Black woman mayor in the city of Boston, shared that Jeff was the father of two of her grandchildren. And so please keep the Janey family in prayer as well. Brother Wawa, I just seen you chime in on the Nubian Square Foundation. I have been using a term that you introduced on here a few weeks ago around, you either said financial. Well, yeah, some people's finances benefited off of us. Foundational Black Bostonians or foundational Black Americans. And I've been using that term based on, I think that day there was a conversation about our immigrant community, Black community, some of our immigrant community who are Black will not say that they're Black. This conversation about ICE and things. And so maybe at some point we need to have you come in and have a conversation just about that perspective. And so Wawa, thank you. And as a candidate here in D7, Wawa Tashad is on as well. We celebrate you all who have stepped up and into leadership. And I even said the other evening, even to Josh Kraft. Oh, hold on. So I forgot I changed Alexa's voice. And it's been a minute since Alexa has went on during the show. So I'm sitting here looking around like, what the? Yes, I said the other night, to every candidate, and I said Josh Kraft himself stepped up, to run, for office. They have to be celebrated for taking that chance and doing it. Shut up, Milagro. Tashad, your fellow candidate, she said good morning to you as well, Wawa. All right, folks, that's it. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Thank you for being here, and we'll